Jambo, Senabanani, Bawoni, Salam. Welcome to Inside Africa. West African heads of state have said all options including the use of force remained on the table to restore constitutional order in Niger after the July 26 coup, and ordered the activation of its standby force. The remarks came as the 15-member Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, met in Nigeria's Abuja on Thursday for an emergency summit to discuss responses to last month's military takeover in Niger, after the coup leaders defied the earlier threat to use force to restore democracy. In closing remarks, the bloc pledged to enforce sanctions and travel bans on those preventing the return to power of democratically elected President Mohamed Bazoum. No option is taken off the table, including the use of force as a last resort, said Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, the ECOWAS chair, at the end of the summit. We remain steadfast in our commitment to supporting Niger in the journey towards peaceful democratic stability, he said. I hope that through our collective effort we can bring about a peaceful resolution as a roadmap to restoring stability and democracy in Niger. All is not lost yet. Since the July 26 overthrow of Niger's democratic leadership, the coup plotters have refused to relinquish power and release detained Bazoum, ignoring an August 6 deadline from ECOWAS to reinstate him. The meeting in Abuja began hours after Niger's coup leaders appointed a new interim government. Mahamane Rufai Luali, cited as Secretary-General of the government, named 21 ministers, without specifying any further government plans. After Tinubu spoke, an official communiqué was read out which included a resolution asking the bloc's defense chiefs to activate the ECOWAS standby force with all its elements immediately. Another resolution spoke of ordering the deployment of the ECOWAS standby force to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger, immediately followed by another that spoke of restoring such order through peaceful means. ECOWAS defense chiefs last week drew up plans for possible military intervention in Niger, which the heads of state discussed during Thursday's summit. The summit communiqué gave no indication of when or under what circumstances a deployment within Niger might take place. It is unclear if there were any representatives from Burkina Faso, Guinea and Mali, whose military heads of state have sided with Niger, at the summit. However, the presidents of Mauritania, a founding ECOWAS member which withdrew from the bloc in December 2000, and Burundi were in attendance. Bazoum's party has said the detained leader and his family are being held at the presidential residence without electricity or running water and had gone days without fresh food. This led to United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres call Bazoum's his immediate, unconditional release and his reinstatement as head of state, a UN spokesperson said on Wednesday. Military intervention is something ECOWAS officials have said would be a last resort. The bloc also said it would enforce all measures, in particular, border closures, travel bans, and assets freeze, on all persons or groups of individuals whose actions hinder all peace efforts in ensuring the smooth and complete restoration of constitutional order. On Wednesday, former Nigerian Central Bank Governor Sanusi Lamido Sanusi met coup leaders in the Nigerian capital, Niamey, offering a glimmer of hope for dialogue after previous ECOWAS missions were spurned. And after a meeting with Nigerian President and ECOWAS Chair Bola Tinubu, Sanusi told Nigerian press in Abuja that interventions are ongoing and will continue. This is a time for public diplomacy. It's not a matter that we leave to governments. All Nigerians need to be involved to find a solution that works for Africa, for Niger, for Nigeria and for humanity, he said. A former emir of the northern Nigerian city of Kano, Sanusi is also a leader of the Nigerian Order of the Tijaniya, a Sufi Muslim sect with origins in Algeria but with a large following across West Africa, including Niger. Any escalation would further destabilize West Africa's Sahel region, one of the world's poorest, where long-running violence from armed groups has displaced millions and stoked a hunger crisis. Niger had recently fared better than its neighbors Mali and Burkina Faso in stemming the violence. It also became an increasingly important Western ally for fighting armed groups after coups in the other two countries between 2020 and 2022, led to strained relations with traditional partners. ECOWAS, The UN and Western countries have been putting pressure on the coup leaders to stand down, while military governments in neighboring Mali and Burkina Faso have said any military intervention in Niger would be seen as a declaration of war on them. This is Inside Africa.